have done many sessions. Now you can see this is a 22nd session, and this time nothing more which could have been appropriate is to remember the big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, and his untimely death has saddened a lot of people, and I've got some messages about his death. But I think legend never dies, and I'm sure he has been called Warren Buffett of India. He has multiplied his wealth roughly 56% year on year, from roughly 5,000 to 5.5 billion dollar, 5,000 crore, 5,000 rupees to 5.5 billion dollar. That's an amazing achievement. We must know the man. I'm sure everybody has their goods and bads. Let's take the good, leave the bad. We all have it. Let's not look at why he died, how he died so early because of the health issues and the heart attack. That's not important. The important is what we can learn from the man. He was known for his open mouth or opinionated person. He has opinion about everything, right from girls to drinks to the America's president. He has not only invested in the stock market for long, he also has been an active trader. He has been shorting the stock as well. He has been somebody who has been limelight, who is basically a force to a lot of people. There is a saying that if he is near to a dead man, he can motivate him as well to stand up. So fortunately, I was able to meet him, not in person, but in a conference 2 years ago when he was already on the wheelchair. And slowly and gradually, we could realize that his voice doesn't have clarity. I was trying for his interview. I had a friend in Dubai. He has opened a company in Dubai recently, but his health was not good. And unfortunately, the one-to-one webinar could not happen. Vijay Kedia, who we have interviewed earlier, I'm sure you all know, he has been a good friend to him. And they were in the same circle. And Vijay Kedia ji has learned a lot from Rakesh ji. So before I talk further about Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who needs no introduction, we at Client First Capital, who manages $30 million, the idea as an active investor, where we don't buy and sell too much on the share which we own as an investor as well. I'm also an investor in the strategy. The idea is to be active outside the stock market. The idea is to learn from these gurus and the investment legends and practice that to become a billionaire and to make the clients billionaire. Now, billion word definitely sounds very, very big, but today I'm sure the $1 billion is a very small. In Indian parlance or in American parlance, we can dream about it. We can definitely change our mind and we can achieve it. So the recording will be available to all of you, and I'll start my session with his brief introduction. So he is a chartered accountant. He was chartered accountant. He was born in Hyderabad, and then he came to Mumbai, and he all his while his father was an income tax officer, and he did not choose a simple CA chartered accounting life, but he wanted to invest from an early age. And the volatility of the stock market was really very much giving him very much interest to invest in the stock market. The price movement fluctuation was very, very important for him. Now, a brief about our company. We started our journey in 2015, and we bootstrapped. We were used to manage a lot of money in private banking. I migrated from a local bank in Dubai. I've been a banker 7 years before starting this company. We became an advisor, and then we became a fund manager. We have a founders portfolio product where we focus on founder-led companies which can grow wealth of the limited partners, which we call to the clients, and general partners, which are we. And we have successfully demonstrated 20% plus track record. And those who are our client today and have spent 2 years with us, they know it. Having said that, this year markets have not done well, and I think this is a part and parcel of life. And in the next slides, we'll come to know what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has to talk about this. So let's learn from him our journey. We have a Dubai company, we have a Mauritius company where we are regulated, and we have an Indian company where we do a lot of Indian mutual funds, and we also run an Indian strategy. It is managed by my family. Our motto is to become a global startup, reduce the wealth inequality in the society. So the reason for doing this session is, one is very selfish, that I want to learn and share, because more sessions I have to do, I have to prepare and learn about it. So I do not deviate from the path, the holistic path of wealth creation. I will not call it a wealth management. We do a wealth creation. Wealth management is like debt and equity and everything else. We only believe in that we do one task pretty well, and today our primary focus is in wealth creation, and that's what the founders portal talk about. We by using this doing this YouTube videos, by our charity work from the foundation, we would love to impart the financial education which has not been told, or maybe it has been told to us and we were not ready to take it in our school days, college days, and our in the jobs. I believe me, nobody tells you how to. So I think a very good quote of one of the staff fund managers, that schools and colleges don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur, how to be an investor, and how to sell. These three things I'm very fortunate that I learned at Rack Bank to at least sell. I'm very fortunate at Rack Bank I learned how to manage money, and I believe the journey will continue. We just started. We are a very small outfit, but our hearts are pure and the intentions are so clear that our all the transparency we maintain. So we coming to the whole idea about these sessions, we would like to be remembered as a legacy where we are helping the masses, people who are associated with us, that they understand that how we can create our own wealth. All of us can become a multimillionaire if we just practice the simple mantras and read the books of the billionaires, or the books of the legendary like Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett's letters. I'm sure all of us can do that. We are needed in your life because we are incentivized to do that. And our motto is to make sure that we all understand it. Coming back to Rakesh ji, he is known as Bhaiya. All my seniors like Ramdev Agrawal, Naveen Agrawal, and Motilal Oswal ji used to call him Bhaiya. As I told you, he was born on 5th July 1960, and then he came to Bombay to become for BCom and then become a chartered accountant. He invested in Tata Tea, the first successful investment. Then he got a good profit in Sesa-Goya. Sesa-Goya is part of Vedanta holding today. And those days, the real big bull was Harshad Mehta, which people remember a lot. But obviously, we all know that Harshad Mehta was not an ethical or legitimate investor. Having said that, Mr. Jhunjhunwala bought the AC Cement share at 535, and he bought 14K shares. The good one thing about him is he buys big, and then he sells those at 3,400 rupees or 500 rupees before this scam took place. I'm sure we all have seen the Big Bull movies about Rashad Mehta, and we all understand the scam. People are more interested in the scam. I am more interested in the great things, and I think these are very boring things. But believe me, investing is very boring, and a simple life is very boring as well. But I want to live longer, and I'm sure Vijay Kedia ji has understood that. I don't know how many of you follow him, but please go and check it. So I think the main intention is to live longer, live healthier. Wealth, if it can compound at 15%, if you know that art, the money will be automatically made. So the learning from Rakesh's life, and I'm thinking all of us should learn. He has said this to everybody, that if I could have taken care of my health, I would have been more happy. So it's all about the health, health, and health. Yes, but coming to the wealth and how he created the wealth, we'll discuss that as well. Then he entered a trade of century. That's a very, very remarkable trade which he did on a company called Titan. Titan is the share which he bought at 3 rupees per share. This roughly became 1,000 times. Now you can imagine 6 crore become roughly 5,000 crores. So out of his net worth, 10% has come from Titan. And that's what has happened in, I think we have to check the number of years, but 2002, if we talk about, he achieved this in roughly 20 years. So this is a live example that wealth can multiply not 10 times or 100 times, it can multiply 1,000 times in a great company. There are two things we need to remember. Don't sell. Second, get in early. Obviously, it goes without saying that always buy quality, quality, and quality. So Titan is a great company. We all know it. We all use it, whether it is Tata Eye or whether it is the Tanishq jewelry or whether it is the watches. All the big companies tie up with Tata to sell their products, their watches in India through Titan. So I believe that this is one of the trade of the century, and I think we all should go for it and invest 1-2 crores at least in these kind of companies and hold on to the ride. That is the beauty of Rakesh ji. So people don't talk about Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's style of investing today. Let me tell you, he had many shares, at least 25 to 30 companies, and there are many shares which have become zero. But there are shares which have also become like Titan and like Star Health. The whole methodology here is first invest, second diversify, third don't sell. And that's what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has learned. So Chuck Akre, who's one of the renowned fund managers in the America who manages roughly $14 billion, he says, we have no target selling price ever. Our holding period for a share is forever. So that's very important, friends. The markets, the brokers, they want to woo us to buy and sell because the brokers is what they get the brokerage. I'm sure you know Bayance has become one of the Bayance CEO. Recently, he was in Dubai's paper. He has become a $35 billion rich guy in a crypto world. And Bayance is a Bayance is a crypto exchange. Exchange makes money all the time you buy and sell. So 0.1% is what they charge. So if you are a broker as a businessman, this is great for you. But if you are not a broker and you're an investor in the stock market, then buying and selling is very harmful to your portfolio health. Anyways, now he did everything. By the way, let me tell you one thing. Rakesh ji lived his life very whatever I read about him, I don't know him personally, but whatever I know about him, he was enjoying each and every day. And he says after 50 years, each day is a bonus. And I want to show that video to you in the end, and you will definitely realize that how does he celebrate each and every day. He was a very heavy drunkard, but that's not really important. I don't think so that we should talk about that. We all understand that it is harmful to our health. Rakesh ji started a company called Rare Enterprise. RA belongs to Rakesh and his wife RE belongs to Rekha. So one of the day, Udyan Mukherjee, who was very close to Rakesh ji, and Rakesh ji in those days become very close to the celebrity in the Bollywood, and he met Priyanka Chopra. And Udyan said to Rakesh ji that Rakesh ji, I think nowadays you like Priyanka. And Rakesh ji said, no, I love Rekha more. And Udyan was not able to realize that what he's talking about, that Rekha, how come Rekha came in picture. And then he realized Rekha is Rakesh's wife. And then Rakesh told Udyan, what do you think? You can pull my leg in this. I'm your bap in this also. A very open mouth, very opinionated, very foul mouth person, and very witty. That's what he is. And he entered the Forbes list of billionaires ranked at 1062 in 2008. He produced this English and English movie. I'm sure we all know English and English is a very good movie. Irfan Khan is also not there with us today. And then he had one of this in last 10 years he realizes that the legacy is not being built because his guru Radhakishan Damani, who is the owner of DMart, whose net worth is roughly 1,80,000 crores, he is creating that legacy. He's a very reserved person. Not many interviews are there on the YouTube or on the internet. He established a very fine business called DMart. Today we're not discussing about Radhakishan ji, but Radhakishan Damani guided him subconsciously or indirectly towards the legacy path. And Rakesh Jhunjhunwala started developing this likeness for legacy. and probably because of that he started donation of 50 crore, and he started this philanthropy activity. And then he was also launching one of the airline in India. It's a low-cost commercial airline, Akasha. Here I also want to tell you, people have been told to be away from the airline business. Airline business is not a good business to be in because of a lot of volatility of the petrol prices. Customer stickiness is not there. Customer only look for low cost. And not only Warren Buffett did a big mistake by entering in the airline business. In 2020, he came out, he lost $50 billion. Similarly, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala entered into SpiceJet. I know, I'm sure you know about it or not. So he did everything. Excuse me. He did everything which is like a taboo, and he made sure that he came as a winner. So his SpiceJet he bought at a very low price. I have not done a study further. Sorry, but he did everything what he feel he's right, and he tried to make money out of that. So finally, he is no more. He passed in 2022. Let's discuss some of his quotes and his work. So he see these quotes, I call them as God. At least the Bhagavad Gita for me, the quotation or the shlokas or the Guru Vakya are very important for me to live a great life. Similarly, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Vijay Kedia, these people have very sound experience of investing, and their quotes are important for me, and they are like friends to me, and those are becoming my guiding principle. And because of that, we try and avoid the mistake which they have committed. So I think a quotation comes from the heart, the poem comes from heart, the song comes from heart, which Vijay Kedia ji writes and sings. It's not easy. It's not easy. That quotation doesn't come so easily. So now the quote of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is, buy when others sell and sell when others buy. The stock market mantra. I hope my investors are listening. Markets are down. I think that's a signal for all of us to buy when others are selling and sell when others are buying. But eventually, I have got a lot of call in the last 4 months. Those are not my clients, because since we are a managed portfolio, people cannot panic because there is no leverage on the portfolio, and it's a 5-year product. But I've got a lot of call. That's a reality from the street, where people had no idea, and they are just telling their brokers that should I sell, should I sell, should I sell. They were so scary, and I think the scare is about two reasons. They don't know what they bought, and second, it was a leveraged position. These two are very alarming sign for any investor. So the mantra is very clear, my friends. Buy when there's a blood on the street and sell when others are buying. So that's what his mantra is. I also want to tell you, all of you, Rakesh ji in an Economic Times interview said in 2019 that for the next 5 years, I'm going to buy gold and a stock both. He also said in 2021 that I've been telling people to buy, they're not listening to me. After 4-5 years, when I will tell people to sell, they will not sell. What indirectly he was trying to say that in the next 2 to 3 years, there will be a stock market crash, but people will not listen to me as well. Rakesh ji is an investor who has taken a lot of risk, and that's why his net worth is far bigger than his peers. He does buy, he does sell. That's how he is. Now he has also done short selling in his earlier life. Let's move to the second quote. Hastily taken decisions always result in heavy losses. Take your own time before putting money in any stock. I'll give you a very good example of this. People don't want to spend time to understand things. They want tip. They want shortcut. Somebody approached me yesterday morning saying that, sir, now you start Instagram Reels. I said, what is Instagram Reels? Instagram Reels is a 15-second, 20-second video where people like to see you and like you, and then they admire you. The problem is, in 15 seconds, what will you utter? What can you speak? But that's the attention span of the new generation. 15 second or 20 second is more than enough. They don't want to hear you more than that. Knowledge cannot be taken in that manner. I can tell you one thing, books are very difficult to read. Even in the night, when you are sleepy, you can't read the book. You need at least 1.5 hour, 2 hour to read a book. You need to be very focused, and that's how the knowledge is transferred. Similarly, annual reports require a lot of time, a lot of freshness to be read. Even a session like this cannot be done unless and until you're properly prepared. You have 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago you have done the preparation. Else people will not come and listen to you, and even you will not get again anything out of it. So what my idea about this whole quotation is, there is a company I told a lot of people that's a good company. I hold it. I've taken the interview of the CEO, and I feel that this is a good company. One should look into it, and if he finds it is good, he should buy it. To my surprise, next morning when I talked to these people, they already bought the shares. I have a client of mine who never attends my webinars. I will tell you one thing, he's a very good client of mine, but before even I utter a word on a stock, he will buy it. That is the kind of action we all want to take in our stock portfolio. Do we do that with our property investment? Do we do that with our marriage proposals? Do we do with that within our business when we buy inventory or a car? For buying a car, we go to 10 showrooms, we debate, we discuss. For a holiday planning, we talk whether we should go to this country or that country. But when buying a stock, our approach is absolutely of Satoria, a gambler. And then we say, oh, stock market is a gamble. Anyways, so this is the whole idea, that don't take a hasty decision, always result in heavy losses. Take your own time before putting money in any stock. I think I am learning from this, and we have a checklist of investing. Yesterday also we got a good stock, but we want to take our time and then realize that if it is actually the best stock, then we're going to buy. Now, that's very important. Invest in the companies which have a strong management and competitive management. Now, as an outsider, any company is all about strong and competitive management, or any company for me is all about management, because management is that jockey which is running that horse. So look at this, Titan made a great money, but Tata Motors did not. The idea is that why should I invest in Titan and not in Tata Motors? I can only know when I'll meet the management, I talk to them, I'll understand the balance sheets or the financials of 10 years and see how quality the management is. Believe me, I'm sure we all know the disaster of GE. GE has Jeffrey Melt, GE has Jack Welch, and some of the CEOs were not great. So it's all about the management in a business. If management is not good, money will not be made. There are very few businesses in the world where even a fool can run it and it will work. So it's all about people, people and people. Investing is all about people. Life is all about people. If we cannot control our emotions, emotion will control us. So we need to look at the management, and I think he would have seen these things in these companies, and that's how he made money. Now coming to this very important point where a lot of investors are disagreeing with us, a fund manager like us. You cannot make profit in the stock market unless you have the ability to bear loss. Today I got a message from one of my investors that yesterday in the world stock market some billions or trillions of dollars become wiped out. Now what is wiped out? Did I sell? I did not. Did you sell? You did not. So how it is wiped out? It is only wiped out for people who were borrowed, who he already sold, and some of them who will sell today and on Monday or Tuesday because they now saw this news. But this is part of the business. This is the part of the investing. This is part of life. I know no man who has ever succeeded in this business without losing. I have lost a lot of money in my business, in hiring, in maybe customer debt, maybe learning new things, with maybe giving fees to the private banks while learning the business, or to the other providers. I don't think so anybody in this world have a straight line like this. We all have to go like this. This has to be our cycle, but the point is, did we learn from the old mistake? So coming to the market, a stock market is a place where you will eventually see your money going down, and then that money will go up. So please understand that if you are doing in the stock market investment, you should have a very strong nerves. You should have courage to hold. You should have a very strong the stomach, and you should now understand what are you actually holding on to. and study further. And if you think you are in the garbage, sell it. But losses are notional, they are part of life, and you need to understand this is a great time to learn, and the bull market will come. And I'm sure in the bull market, if you have bought quality stocks, you will earn money. So that's what the RJ's mantra for all of us. Now, this is very important. Emotional investment is a sure way to make a loss in stock markets. Now, many of people I have found, they're very attached to their properties and their stocks. A lot of people are telling me today, I'm not selling my property because my property is still not reached the cost price. Dear investor, did you realize that today's price is the highest or not? If you don't know how the property price mechanism works and you keep waiting on your price has not come, you might miss this cycle also. Did you buy at a right price? Similarly in the stock, if you bought a stock at a very, very bad price, for example, let's say somebody bought Zoom share at $600, do you think that he will ever come back to his profit, or it will take 10 years? And if it takes 10 years to get break even, you know what he does? After 10 years, when the Zoom share will come to break even, he sell. I'll give you this example. So I had this company called Wonderla Holidays, which is a Disney of India. I bought it 3.5 years ago. It was a proper paid advice. And 2020 happened. The COVID came in and the whole world got shut. And I incurred a loss. I didn't sell it. And when I saw it 2 weeks ago, in a 5 days period, the stock was 70% up. Today, I am 20% up on my 3.5 years holding. If this would have been a Bhuvan Gupta who is not reading, not a fund manager, not a learned man, first thing he would have done, he would have sold the stock when it came to par. The second lesson I have learned here is that I have not sold the stock now and I want to keep it. But third lesson is why I didn't put in more. When I have a stock on my portfolio lying low, surviving, and it's a great time that the revenge travel has started and people are traveling and tourism is happening all the way. These are the lessons one has to learn. And the emotional, oh, I know this stock is down now, I should not invest. In fact, many a time I wanted to sell that stock, but somehow I did not sell the stock. So emotionalism in the investment is not going to work. In fact, emotionalism is not going to work anywhere. So my Guru Maharaj says that have emotions, don't be emotional. So please keep the emotions at home. Market is called TGH, the great humiliator. It will humiliate everybody. Many of 100 baggers have become 50% before they would have gone to 10 times or 100 times. So it's a very common scenario. Emotions are not to be involved in investment. The stock doesn't know that Mr. Gupta owns it. Second quote, never invest at unreasonable valuation. So a very good learning which we are getting here is don't invest in IPOs. Rakesh ji said very clearly, I don't invest in IPO. But still, while I was in India, I was roaming around here and there and saw people are still investing in IPO. People are really very hardworking, but they're all playing small games. So I met this guy on a train, he's a banker. And what he was doing in Zomato IPO, he basically opening 7-8 Demat accounts, and he wanted to make sure that all the Demat account for the family he subscribed for the IPO, and every family member will get 20,000, 30,000 rupees worth of stock. The stock will list, they will make 15-20% and they will sell it. And he had some couple of IPOs where he made money, and now in Zomato IPO he is losing money. Now that is the very important lesson, that do not invest in unreasonable valuation. So I think Jay Kumar is also sharing his message. I will take it in the end, Jay, for sure. So very important lesson here is do not invest in unreasonable valuation. So don't buy companies which are in limelight, like Rivian, for example, Zomato IPO. Don't buy these companies like Nykaa in the IPO. Don't buy the company in IPO. That's what Rakesh ji has said. If we can live this with these principles in a throughout our life, Rakesh ji will never die. A legend never dies. I'm a repeating friend. The legacy always stays there. What you give to the society from your own mistake is always there. So that's the whole point. And I have a request to all the old men who are joining this session that your legacy must be preserved, sir. You have lived your life. If children do not listen to you, write a book. If you can't write a book, write a letter. If you cannot write a letter, make some videos. Make sure they stay in the YouTube. Open up, share your mistakes, because people do not want to learn. You will not only learn when you will share your mistakes as a learning lesson. Now, top holdings of Rakesh ji. Obviously, there are not those bad holdings, which are also important to understand. But Nazara, I'm sure the Nazara game company just came in IPO. CRISIL, it's a very interesting story. I'll come to CRISIL. Tata, I think Tata Motors, this is Tata Motors, Ascot Hotels, Ascot Hospitals and Hotels, Federal Bank, Titan, which we talked about, Fortis, and Metro. Now, I don't have the exact price when he bought it, but if we add all these, it is roughly, the Titan is the biggest, it is roughly 20,000 crore, and he has definitely more shares, and roughly out of 38,000 crore, I think 20,000 crore is the public stock. He also invests into private equity companies. Now, very interesting story of CRISIL, where his mother wanted him to buy a house, and he sold 70 crore worth of CRISIL shares, and he bought house for the family. And he regretted this decision all his life. I had a lot of argument with my clients. I tell them, so they give me a very good argument. Bhuvanji, we don't have money right now. Everything is into property. I said, sir, sell a property and give it to me. One property which is growing at 5% dollar return. If you can't understand what I'm doing or what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala did, and if we are trying to make you 15% here, giving you a track record, showing you a simple mechanism, but people give me excuse that we have everything in the property. I have, and today only it happened with me, and I have only 20 lakh rupees to invest, and I said 20 lakh rupees we don't take because we don't really make any difference in your life. Here, this man who bought us house, I think in Nalasopada for 70 crore, he regretted all his life that why the hell I bought that house. It would have today been 700 crores. It's on the record. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala regretted his decision to buy a house worth 70 crore, which according to him, if he would have held in the CRISIL shares, it would have been worth 700 crores. I hope you get the message. Now, that's a very, very interesting allocation of his shares. So if you look at Titan is the biggest shareholding, which is 34%. It's come under the jewelry sector. Insurance, which is health, Star Health Insurance, which is 24%. And then Tata Motor, which is 8.93%, and rest of the companies. What is the lesson we are learning here? The lesson we are learning here is the sector location is bullshit. We talk about we should have this sector, that sector, cement, edible oil. All these are 0.11 point, that's nothing else. Having said that, Titan is not jewelry, it is also consumer discretionary. So a company can come into various segment, in a various industry. Please understand this asset allocation, everything is one thing. He would have started with all that, but eventually the winners are the winner. A very good lesson we learned as a fund manager. Winners keep winning. Winners keep winning. We always think, oh, okay, that loser is there. Why don't we put more money to that? Winners keep winning. They have find something which is like a decoding message. Titan has found that it keep winning and winning and winning. So don't water your weeds and extract the plant. Water your plant, extract the weed. Why many people go wrong in the stock market? They book their profit and put in the money in the stock where they're losing. Here the idea is, okay, there are 2-3 things you can do here. Let's say you're not booking your losses in a bad stock. Don't book profits also. Or don't book profit, at least sell the losses and buy more on the winners. Or if you are, let's say, booking profit, also book losses, and that is also one way of looking at it. But what we are essentially doing is not selling a loser, but keep selling our winner. So that's why we will never make 10 times or 100 times, etc. etc. The idea is, and I hear this complaint from a lot of people, I don't sell. People tell me I don't sell. And I tell them, sir, make me meet with a billionaire who is made money by keep selling, buying, selling, buying. Even Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who's a trader, or Vijay Kediaji for that matter, they turned an investor. So I think I have right people to guide me. I have so many great books to guide me, so many contemporary senior fund managers to guide me. Buying, selling will only eat away your pot, my pot in the brokerage. And 60 to 70% of our portfolio should be long-term oriented. And if I have taken a best decision in my life, like marrying a good girl, why the hell I have to divorce? That's not the Indian culture, and that's what we all should learn. Now, Principles of Good Investing by Rakesh ji. He says, I am not afraid of making mistakes, but my mistakes were those that I could afford. That's very important. Mistakes. That's very important. Mistakes will happen, but you must ensure that you keep them within limits you can afford. Very important point, commit a mistake. All the old men, I'm telling you from my experience, all the old people, all the father, all the chairman of the companies, your children will commit a mistake. Don't tell them too much, one after one after. But if you talk to them and say that, my dear son or daughter, what did you learn from that mistake? Why don't we write down that message and put on the wall? But in the middle class family, we keep on discussing the mistake and mistake and mistake, which really humiliates, because it is very easier said than done. That's one. Second, we never tell our mistake to our children, because I'm sure all the parents in those days when the stock market was a purely satta would have definitely lost money, definitely committed a mistake in the property, definitely given money to somebody who would have not returned the money. It's very important that you be open about your mistake to your family, to your children, and they don't see you just like a man who has, who has all the good things. They also understand it's a part of cycle. I'm not saying encourage mistakes, but there is a very good saying, when we hire people and if they have not seen failure in their life, we feel that they have not done anything. Very important to fail, to get fail, which is not taught in the school, but sports teaches you that. Sports teach us that failure is a part of life, losing is a part of life. Where in the education it's all about scoring the marks, killing your competitor, but in the real life, I can tell you one thing. Maybe I am a good student in my college school life. All my backbencher friends, specifically people who did BCom, are doing much better than us, maybe because they are in the business and they learn to make money. We study a lot about maths and science and whatnot, and I'm not discouraging the study, but most important is we have not been taught that mistakes are good. Learn out of it, commit a new mistake, learn out of it, and do something else. And I will tell you something we were discussing today, and I found that we were discussing about a businessman, and he opened something somewhere, and he incurred a loss over there, which is absolutely fine. So I think we all have made out of our mistakes. Mistakes are very important, but let's not commit a blunder. Let's not borrow all the money and invest in the stock market. Let's not board on a particular thing. Let's always have 5 to 10 companies at least. Let's not do something which we don't understand. And specifically when we don't understand, we should try and understand. So we should have a copy and pen always. Should always ask questions and questions and questions. And only when we'll ask questions, we'll learn. A very good saying by one of my friend, Mr. Jadhav, in the morning, we do a Bhagavad Gita session in the morning. He says, we don't even have questions. We don't even have a doubt. Unless we have a doubting intelligence where we start asking questions, how will we get the answers? So subconsciously or unconsciously, we are not even asking the question. The journey to $1 billion or a good life is only going to start when we'll start asking questions. So coming to this, commit a mistake within your limit. That's what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala did, and that's how he is what he is. Now this is a very, very typical quote of him. You can never predict how market will react. You can model it. Example, Weather, you may know what's happening, but it can always be uncertain and you can't help it. For example, I was traveling in a bus in India in these era, in the last 1 month, and there was a heavy rainfall happening. It's a luxury bus, and the bus has the water leakage all the way in all the seats, and the whole bus was wet. I could have kept my calm because I had to catch a flight. We went some far, and what happened is the bus tire got burst. So all this can happen all this while you need to keep your control. So you may not, I could have not predict the market and weather and risk. Only God knows what's going to happen. Somehow I reached maybe 1 hour late and I traveled and I am here. Sometimes you're stuck in the situation. Similarly, market today are low, but your reactions are very important. A very new good book I was about to read some of the pages. It says that if you are studying too much about the market, if you are studying too much about the market, start studying your own behavior. People who are 24x7 watching the ticker and the stocks prices, they should start watching and studying their own behavior, that why do they do so. Because looking at the stock market ticker, nothing is gained. So I think it's a message for all of us, and we cannot predict the market, and market can like a fascinating lady which is endlessly complex, endlessly changing. The only way you can have a great relationship with the market, the way you can have with a great lady. That's what Rakesh ji said to Alia Bhatt, that if I respect a lady, I will have a great relationship with her. Similarly, respect the market. Market is the king. Nobody is the king. People who thought they are the king, they are in Arthur Jail Road. That's another quote by Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Market is the king here. The king is here to serve. King is not a guide. We need to take the service of the king and make our own fortune. That is what I think. And it's a very good thing here also in the quote that I have not seen a tomorrow, my friend. Let me tell you this very frankly. I have not seen a tomorrow, because when tomorrow will come, this will be today. So I never focus on tomorrow. I always focus on what I have today. So tomorrow has never come in my life. It's always today. So please live in present. God is in present, and let's not try to predict the market. Though people who think that everything will be clear and then I'll invest, that's another problem. That all the facts will be in my pocket. Oh, okay, let the Russia war finish. Let the Powell increase the interest rate completely and then I will invest. That will never happen. Investing is guesstimate after you are very sure about your company. Forget about the market. And if it's a quality company, it will take care of itself in the 5 to 10 years. So that's why remain invested all the time. Now, this is a very good Hindi quote. He said, "जलता हुआ cigarette कोई नहीं छोड़ सकता." Now, I am not a smoker, but people who are a smoker and listening to me, if you see a burning cigarette, I am sure you have an urge to smoke it. And I think he was a smoker, and that's why he's saying that saving has to go somewhere, and the retail investor will come back to financial market again and again, and he will come when the stock market is going up, because at the time he feels like it's a burning thing and I am not there. The foam was built in, and then the retail investor comes at the top. So that's the whole message I think Rakesh is giving here. One good thing about his health, where Anand Mahindra, who is the chairman of Mahindra and Mahindra, who shared on 21st of August, which is very, I think, last week. And he timed in Economic Times as one of the India's most successful investor. And he said, "My worst investment has been my health." So a good lesson for all of us to invest in our health as well. And trading is very hazardous to our health. Financial leverage is very hazardous to our health. Meeting a banker again and again is very hazardous to our health, because it prompts us to act. Buying and selling again and again is hazardous to our health. It's very important that we understand that we need to invest in our health, means we have to cut down the whole noise. Nowadays I stop reading the newspaper also, because all full of noise. I need to read good books, because books are a great history. They talk about the experience, where news are only there to make me react. Some people cannot even go to toilet if they don't have a newspaper in the hand. You can understand that how the anxiety is. The news is creating anxiety. There was a times now I remember, and it was creating a breaking news, and there was some bomb blast. So breaking news bomb blast. I said, what happened in India? Let me open it. And then somewhere in the Somalia or Nigeria, some bomb blast happened. I think it was last week or something. So what I'm trying to tell you, that health is very important, and for that sake I don't sit down in the system. I have all the trading platform available, but I don't want to get into this kind of wealth where my health is not there. That's precisely Rakesh ji uh, has shown us that I made a lot of wealth, but I could not take care of my health. And that is what the message the person is giving, and we all should learn from him. Now I have last two things to share. Before I go to that, let me read out what my good friend JK said. So JK is saying, has shared, he's joined us from US, from Texas. I did the same with Bosch stock, held it for 5+ years before I sold it to avoid a loss. Just made 70 rupees on the stock, but happy I did not make a 14k loss. And JK, I think you should also mention how much is the stock price today. So then you can write it down that never ever in my life I should hold on to something without knowing it. If I hold on to it, I should know what I'm holding on to it. And then if it's a quality, then I should basically buy more of it. So your message is half done. If you can just check the boss stock and tell us the price today and tell us your total loss from the sell to today's date, then I think this will be a great learning message for all of us. So we'll wait for that, and in the meantime, I'll go to Twitter and play Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's video. 1 second.
उस दिन अपने रूम में एसी कब लगेगा? उस दिन समझिए जब बजट.
So I will just give you a brief about it. Rakesh ji got married to Rekha. Rakesh ji was a trader. Rekha ji, who is his wife, was asking for an air condition, and she wanted is the air condition, and that's what Rakesh ji is replying. Some of you would have seen the video already.
अपने रूम में एसी कब लगेगा? उस दिन समझिए जब बजट शाम को आता था, बाजार 6 से 9 रहता था, तो 6 बजे मेरी नेटवर्क 3 करोड़ थी और 9 बजे मेरी नेटवर्क 2 करोड़ 20 करोड़ थी. तो मैंने जाके बस एक ही चीज की, रेखा को घर पहुंचा रात को 2 बजे, सब डिस्कस वगैरह करके मैंने बोला रेखा अपने एसी आ गया. और फिर भगवान ने साथ दिया और हमने क्या किया, कभी गलत काम नहीं किया पैसा कमाने के लिए. हमारे डैडी क्या बोलते थे, ये शेयर बाजार है, यहाँ कोई बीवी के बांगड़ बेच के आता है, कोई बीवी को बेच के आता है, कभी किसकी हाई नहीं लेना चाहिए. तो वो दिन और आज का दिन है, कभी मैं कोई शेयर को मैनिपुलेट करूं, इधर बेचूं उधर लू, वो सब धंधे हमको आते ही नहीं है, आप समझेगा. और ना करने हैं तो आते हैं, लेकिन करने ही नहीं है. तो भगवान ने आज भगवान के बहुत शुक्र, क्या बोल सकते हैं कि आई हैव फार लेसर वेल्थ देन पीपल थिंक, बट फार 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 मोर देन आई नीड, बिकॉज वेल्थ ऑल्सो हैज अ पर्पस. क्या करूंगा पैसे का? बच्चे को 200-500 करोड़ दे दूंगा, उसके बाद इससे मैं तो बहुत बार सोचता हूँ कि मरता हूं मैं कमाने के लिए, मजा मेरे जवाई और बहू करने वाले और बेटे और बेटी. आप समझे ना. तो खुश हूं, करता वो हूं जो मैं चाहता हूं. The wealth allows me to do what I want, and I live life by my terms. And whatever success I have had, I think patience, hard work, taking defeat with a smile. मुझे बहुत बार नुकसान हुआ जिंदगी में, बहुत बार सेटबैक लगा है, मैंने बहुत बार शेयर बेचे हैं पैसा नुकसानी भरने के लिए, लेकिन एक बार हो गया. See, never be afraid to make a mistake. Only make one you can afford, so that you may live to make another one. Because if you are afraid to make a mistake, you cannot take any decision. तो मुझे गलती होती है, मैंने कंपनी में पैसा लगाया A to Z, मैं 150 करोड़ रुपया खोया उसमें. मैंने कभी उसके प्रमोटर से तेज बात नहीं की. मैंने बोला मैंने उसको परखने में गलती की. अपना डिसीजन के लिए अपने आप को ब्लेम करो, उससे सीखो और भूलो उसको. क्या बात है. अपने रूम में एसी कब लगेगा?
सबसे important lesson I think here is that if you lose money in a stock, and if you lose money in a stock, don't blame that shareholder or somebody else. It's about mistakes is mine. So I always say that all the mistake in this world is mine, and the credit belongs to you people, because that's how, if you live the outlook of life. So a lot of things from learning from his quotation is that, or his statement is imandari, the honesty, patience, hard work, and take defeat with a smile. It's very important to take a defeat with a smile. Repeating again, very easier said than done. People just say it, they don't do it. So even one mistake is done by one family member or an office employee or somebody, we keep in deep in heart and keep telling them again and again. So I'm saying it's very important that we all learn from our mistake. We point fingers to us. I always say that when I point a finger to somebody, the three points to me, and that's the whole talk about. That if I can learn from all my mistakes, I think this will be a better world. I should never ever tell people that because of them it has happened, because of this it has happened. It's always my mistake. If in my portfolio I had some losers, it's all because of my mistake, that I was a poor judge of a company, or probably not follow the checklist. And when it is the stock which has made 8 times or 10 times, I always give credit to people who have helped me to buy that company. And that is what I'm sure successful people know this better. Now we have a last very funny video from Rakesh ji's life.
I think the video is not visible.
सर वीडियो शेयर कीजिए सर।
मेरा चैन में सब उजड़ा
सर जी आप तो डांस नहीं कर रहे वीडियो में।
सर वीडियो दिख नहीं रहा है।
लगता है आप बहुत मगन हो गए वीडियो देखने में, सुन नहीं रहे दूसरे लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं।
So I think that was one of his, I think, the last celebration. Today, I don't think so there will be any questions, and I don't think so that we should ask any question. But I have a request to all of you. There are some books on Rakesh Jhunjhunwala on the Amazon, if you can go through, or a lot of his interviews are there now. Flame University has put in those interviews. So all of us should learn from the investor. Let's not commit the mistake which he has committed. On that note, I think the whole one hour is about to finish. Let's keep 2 minutes of silence, and then we call it a day. And I'll see you again in the perfect recipe for Retirement Series 23rd in the next month. Please write to us the kind of session you want. The idea is to impart education and knowledge and of the financial and the stock market. We don't predict the market. We are a very seasoned investor. On that note, let's have a 2 minute of silence. At 7 p.m. Dubai time, I will finish the session. Thank you for joining us, and Hari Om.